It started as a harmless joke, or at least, that's what we told ourselves at first. My friends and I had spent the day planning a small weekend getaway, a mix of fun, laughter, and a little mischief. My husband, Daniel, was usually so serious, so predictable, and we thought it would be funny to play a little prank on him. Nothing cruel, nothing dangerous, just a harmless joke to see his reaction. We drove him to the edge of town under the guise of a surprise picnic and, while he was distracted taking photos of the scenery, we sneaked away, leaving him stranded a few miles from home with only a packed lunch and a note that read, "Gone exploring. Don't worry, we'll be back soon. Love, your favorite pranksters." We laughed hysterically as we drove off, imagining the bewildered look on his face and the stories we would share later. Hours passed. At first, we texted him joking messages, expecting playful replies and the occasional annoyed emoji. But as the evening stretched on, our amusement began to fade. His texts weren't joking. "Guys, this isn't funny anymore. I've walked for miles. I need a ride. Call me." We brushed it off, assuming he was exaggerating, but a nagging sense of guilt started creeping in. Night fell, and Daniel still hadn't returned. We started to panic. Calls went unanswered, and suddenly our harmless prank felt heavier, more serious. What if something had happened on the way home? What if he had gotten hurt or lost? The laughter that had fueled our day evaporated, replaced with fear and regret. Finally, we decided to head out and find him. We drove slowly along the roads he might have taken, calling his name, hoping against hope that he was just hiding, just playing along, just waiting to surprise us. But the sight that greeted us when we finally spotted him stopped us cold. Daniel was walking along the roadside, looking tired, dusty, and furious. His clothes were slightly wrinkled, his hair disheveled, and his expression was one I had never seen before, a mix of exhaustion, disbelief, and quiet rage. He didn't run toward us, didn't shout, didn't wave. He just stared. And in that moment, we realized how far our joke had gone. When we finally caught up, he said nothing for a long moment. Then, in a calm but icy voice, he spoke, "You left me miles from home. Alone. At night. And you thought it would be funny?" Guilt hit us all at once. We tried to apologize, to explain, but he raised his hand. "Stop. Just stop." His composure was terrifying in its restraint. The anger simmering beneath the surface was palpable, the kind that makes you realize that some lines shouldn't be crossed, even in jest. We offered him rides, tried to make light of the situation, but he refused. Instead, he walked alongside the car as we followed, silent and brooding. When we finally reached home, he didn't enter with the cheerful banter we expected. He paused at the door, turned to us, and said, "I hope you understand what you've done. I hope you realize that trust isn't something to gamble with, even in jokes." Then came the shock. As we entered the house, we found that he hadn't just walked silently. He had called a few of our closest friends during his walk, sending messages that were calm but precise, hinting at what had happened and asking them to check in on us. By the time we arrived, word had already spread. Our entire circle of friends knew about the prank, and the collective reaction was, not laughter. They were stunned. Some laughed nervously, unsure whether to sympathize with Daniel or us, while others shook their heads in disbelief. Daniel's next move surprised everyone even more. Instead of lashing out or storming off, he had prepared a little counter-prank of his own. He had rearranged certain items in the house, left notes around explaining in humorous but pointed detail how easily we could lose trust in each other if jokes were taken too far, and even set up small reminders of the walk he had endured, our own personal lessons in humility. We couldn't help but laugh through our guilt when we saw it. The notes were clever, the reminders subtle, and the humor intact, but underneath it all, the message was clear: he had not forgotten, he had not forgiven lightly, and he had reminded us in a way that no lecture ever could. By the end of the night, the tension had dissolved into cautious laughter. We hugged, apologized again, and promised never to take jokes that far again. But deep down, we knew something had changed. The prank, meant to amuse, had turned into a lesson about respect, patience, and boundaries. Daniel's calm handling of the situation shocked everyone, not just us, but the friends he had quietly informed along the way. No yelling, no revenge, just a reminder that even in laughter, trust is fragile and must be handled with care. The next day, over coffee, he smiled slightly and said, "Next time you think leaving me stranded is funny, remember tonight. Miles from home isn't just about distance, it's about perspective." We nodded, chastened, and grateful that the prank, though reckless, hadn't destroyed our relationship. In the end, what started as a joke became a story that everyone remembered, the time we left Daniel stranded miles from home, and the way he returned not with anger, but with a quiet, unforgettable lesson in trust, respect, and the unexpected power of measured revenge.